early kills? Can he ramp up his farm? So they don't fall into this void of you get the birds, then nothing happens. If you get the farm early with a couple kills picked up, because he does have the death toll facet, things could look like they can ramp up their activity a bit more. That's just how I feel and how I see it.
Yeah, for sure. That's really why I was putting a lot of emphasis on to, well, can you make some rotations with this Naga Siren to be able to, get some kills, guarantee that some of those Soul Assumption stacks really start building up, building up, building up, and you get a whole lot more of that snowball potential. If you're the one that's able to, what would you even go here as the first item on the Visage, right? Like, he's already queued
30
up a couple of
seconds
braces
left.
for himself. You're not necessarily like an amazing aura builder, but you kind of are forced to go into it. So maybe just a pipe to begin with.
Pipe or drums, I
Yes.
think if the game goes well, drums you can get benefit off of. But if there's going to be a passive moment going on, you don't get a lot of kills going, I guess the pipe could be the safe option to look at.
I don't know. I'm not seeing too many instances where you're going to be able to just
battle
stand in front of a
begins.
tower and pop the drums, right? Like, you've got a Storm Spirit, you've got a
Yeah.
Centaur with Stampede. They're going to catch you.
I think
Hold on.
the
Just
way
looking
you're
at this bottom
the way
lane, the Pike is just. I think he knows that Wits is going through this twin gate now, so I wonder if he's going to go up and beam him and kind of just ruin his life
annoy
a
him.
little bit here. Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. I think like when you're talking about that like itemization and stuff, it kind of paints the picture too that whatever decision they make with an item, it has to click the moment they're making it. Otherwise, you feel like you're losing value off of the hero, off of the item you're making. Your draft doesn't then suddenly start to like it doesn't make sense at that point. So whatever you choose to build, it has to be the right decision. It can't be like, well, I made this and it's fine. Then I can build this after. Like, you have heroes who prioritize A over B, but they can do it B before A. You still have a traditional route to go forward. Those auras will really tell a lot what they want to achieve on Dibujitos' side.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I don't know. I'm just always a fan of drafts that are hard to kill, and
Well, this is your meta.
Yeah, they don't have a ton of lockdown on Dibujitos either, right? Like, Omni Knight's probably going to get his spells off. Storm Spirit's going to be able to zip away in a worst case scenario. Centaur's going to be able to pop the Stampede. You've got Shadow Realm, and Luna's not going to show up to fights unless it's very, very safe to do so. So it just I think they're just going to need to make some big mistakes on Beast Coast if Dibujitos are going to be able to come out with this one. Or they're going to need to make these movements that I keep talking about, right? Like, if Naga Siren can go through the Twin Gate and find kills onto this Luna, slow her game down, get some of these Soul Assumption charges with the Death Toll facet onto the Visage and get into whether it be the pipe or the drums that you were talking about, then maybe, Dibujitos are able to make it happen. But if it's just, sitting back, passively farming, again, once Centaur has the Crimson, what can you do?
Still talking about interactions as well. I just wanted to ask you, does Deluge still break Stampede?
Does Deluge break Stampede? I haven't tested that.
Because it has been like that for, for a while. I'm just thinking, have they fixed it yet? Because that's where the Naga Siren looks good versus the Centaur. Because when you pop Stampede, but you're affected by Deluge, your max movement speed is 240. You don't go faster than that, which is a Stampede counter.
Yeah, I'd be a little disappointed if it did still work like that, because I feel like if you're using an ultimate, it should override things like that. Ultimates shouldn't be able to be reduced to something like that by just a regular ability. It's kind of like how every single offensive dispel in the game can't get rid of like Guardian Angel and Repel, except for Shadow Demon because it's his ultimate, the demonic purge, right?
Yes.
Oracle Q doesn't work, Enchantress Enchant doesn't work, but Shadow Demons does because you're spending an ultimate to be able to make it happen. So if Deluge worked on like Windrun, for example, that makes sense. Stampede, it doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people too. That's why I did want to ask that. It's like, if it's still in the game as it is, because I haven't really read anything about a hotfix, or that if it is literally just intended to be. So that could be something that we're looking at the next patch. But this has been going on for a while now. Since the Deluge was introduced, people were talking that, it reduces your movement speed. It works through Windrun. Yes. It works through Stampede. Yes. Wait, what? Really? Yes. So I just want to see that in action because we could see some wild fights where if Beast Coast is trying to disengage or even try to engage where the Naga Siren gets Deluge off, it offsets a lot because you're expected to move at maximum movement speed to the target or out of the way from where you are right now, and it could just spoil your escape or initiation completely. Moves as in Kefu.
Kefue, I want to say that's what's happening, maybe. Something about a crash.
Yes. Okay. Entra sele crashea. Crash.
I know. I learned a bit of Spanish when I was like 11, so I know very basic. I can count to 10. I can talk about the weather.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's even more than me because I started actually Spanish basics at the start of the year. The mistake I made was I also started Italian basics, and I kept mixing up the words. And I was like, well, this is not a good idea. So that was my New Year's resolution, and I think I'm going to have to do the same thing at the start of next year as well. It has not been going well.
Is this what, Duolingo or specific classes?
Duolingo, mostly. That was what I wanted to start off with, Get like a crash course to start things off.
I've always wanted to learn Mandarin, but like anything that's not what do you call them? Like the letters that we use, in our alphabet, A B C D, blah 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 blah. It's just like another barrier to entry to me because I know those letters. I can sound something out even if it's I'm actually pretty decent at French, but Italian, Spanish, whatever it might be. You can kind of make it work, but it's a lot harder when it's a completely different thing, like
Latin
Japanese
alphabet.
with kanji and stuff like that. Yeah,
the Latin alphabet, definitely. Yeah, based off of the Greek alpha and the beta. Quick history lesson for all your folks out there. As we are experiencing a bit of apparently a crash on entry, so Tai Lung Osito, by his older name, is unable to get to the server here. So hopefully this does not take too long. This is probably the worst case scenario. You just play your first series in the upper bracket in the qualifier, and you're already down a man at the early minutes. So hopefully you can get him back. I mean, me and Kips, when we've been casting games, we've run into the situations of where they play 4v5. One guy has to micro the hero since laning stage. 15-20 minutes after the guy shows up at the internet cafe, he logs in and he's like, why do I have 7 kills on my hero? Like, dude, I've been microing my ass off and we're getting kills. We're winning this game. And we've seen that happen twice. So they can still play at 4v5, sure. I don't know what the rules state about pause timers and all, like how long it will take. Probably production might notify us at some point. But this is a really tough matchup versus Beast Coast. Having to play 4v5, that would be very unfortunate.
It's not out of the question, though, right, to win 4v5. Most of the time it happens, like, I don't know, 20 minutes into the game at least, where you've got at least that base level of farm. You might have an ultimate that you can look to play around. Like, microing in the laning phase is just horrible, right? Because you're ruining one of the lanes, if that's the case. At least you can kind of passively jungle, or you can shove a lane if it's, past the laning phase. I think it was it Entity or Cloud9? I forget which team they were at the time that actually beat G2IG 4v5 when Kataomi disconnected. And it takes a while to live down that sort of thing, because when you're at that level, you should probably be winning when you're one man up.
We had a series of, I think it was East European TI qualifiers lower bracket run with it was a Trident versus somebody else, and they lost their mid player, so their support microed the Lion and the Pango. Those are two great heroes to micro, by the way, in the same, because Lion can always initiate, Pango can just roll in, then you just have to, keep clicking him in circles. Lion can right-click, you've got stun and hex. And he was just going around the map, finding a hero. Lion stuns, Pango jumps in, they kill a target, then he just moves both of them back into the jungle to farm creeps, and they kept on repeating that. Up until the point where Pango's rolling, the player connects from the internet cafe as he's ulted, and he misses the target, and we're like, where's he going? Oh, has reconnected. Oh, he's back in the game. He has probably no idea what's happening. His hero is just rolling somewhere. But they won that game. And actually, they wrote an article about that on. I think it was like on a Russian newspaper or something back then. This was multiple years ago, but that was a game we will, I think, always remember because it was the TI qualifier. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, that's always the worst when someone reconnects at the worst time and you're like, no, I was controlling. But, oh well, what can you do? Especially when the comms breaks down like that.
Well, still no updates. No idea what is going on at the moment, but it looks like, as you can see, Tylong, every time he connects, he insta-disconnects. So, sounds like it could be a client-side issue, at least to me. Probably he's already restarted his PC in between, but that is a very annoying bug to have. Okay, we just gonna update. 1 minute left on pause.
Rough way to start the series for sure. At least, worst case scenario, you do have lower bracket to be able to play with, and again, it really does feel like that second spot is wide open. Heroic, I would say, probably taken one, but it's I mean they had a roster change, right? No Hector, you've got Jim Park there instead, so I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they would be by far the strongest team, especially considering some of the other results that have been happening across other qualifiers throughout the past few weeks, right?
Yeah, there's always chance for upsets, right? Anything can happen here in this qualifier. I think you have to look at like Team Waska might be a surpriser. There's
number two.
Yeah, there's like three really strong teams. Then maybe you put Legacy up on that board. Then like Kuya Esports, that's also pretty good. So anyone can take a game off of any of these teams, really.
For sure.
Tylong, he still can't stay in. Oh boy.
Poor guy. That must feel so... Like, because you had to fight your way through open quals, you had to go through, like, best of ones to be able to get to this stage, and you even, like, won it cleanly, right? Like, I don't think they dropped a single game in those second ones, like, even the best of 3 semifinals at the very end, so... You want to see them get the opportunity to play against Beast Coast. Like, if they put in a good series, even if they don't win, let's say it's a 2-1, maybe Beast Coast are like, oh, match will be remade. Okay. Well, maybe it's a game issue rather than a client issue.
Could also be that. But hey, as we work on this, I think this could be a good moment because we're still gonna have to redo the draft and everything. So we'll have to do a bit of a remake. This might take a couple of minutes to get things in order. So I'm not sure if prediction's gonna allow us to take a tiny breather break here in between, but instead of guys getting bored listening to our stories, I don't have any good dad jokes to throw in right now. I think it's best saved for maybe a bit later on. So if it's possible, I think we might be taking a tiny break. We'll be back in a couple minutes as we're finished with the remake and then get back with the Dota. So stay tuned. Don't disappear anywhere. We'll be back in a couple minutes for the actual game. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right. I think we're just stuck here. We're not actually throwing into a break. So, what's in your mind then?
Well, first off, getting back into this lobby. Just give me a second to make sure I'm in there. All right, we Gucci. Waiting for a patch. That's probably my big one. What are your? I want to ask this, T. What are your 4 bans that you've got on your hero list?
My 4 bans. I have a couple interesting ones, but that's going to have to wait a bit because we did get confirmation. We're going to take a tiny pause to get things in order. Then you'll find out T-Panda's 4 banned heroes. We'll be back in a bit. All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. We're done with the remake, and finally, we can get this best of 3 underway with Beast Coast on the Radiant side and Dibujitos DFB on the Dire side. And one quick observation, Danog, that I did make out of this Dire side. Did you notice the Bart Simpson banner and logo?
Of course I did. It's one of the first things that I noticed. I don't think that has anything to do with Dibujitos or anything. I'm also interested to see if anything about the warding game changes, because one ward that I really liked that Dibujitos did previously was they dropped one pretty much where Lumpy's standing right now, with next to the Watcher, just because they know that Storm Spirit probably doesn't want to go to the lane too much against the Quap, and this is going to be the camp that he's looking to try and farm as much as possible. So I think they want to try and gank him when he's, you know, potentially looking to pick up that farm, maybe steal it away for themselves. That's the sort of thing that they're really hoping for.
See where they do place that vision in the end. They've got themselves both wards here on the bottom side of that river. So you've got a high ground vision, and then you also have the triangle vision brought up here.
Okay, I mean, I suppose if you've got Demon there who might be rotating from the bottom side, it's certainly not the worst things to be able to just make sure there's no one that you're going to be running into.
Well, we, as we mentioned, we do want to keep an eye open on this mid matchup, particularly how these 2 mids are going to be playing against each other's. Also, I do like one little tiny detail as well about the Dire side is that the Akatsuki logos here with Osito and Arcano who played on that team.
Hold on.
Shido also was in the carry position.
Oh, not again.
Not again.
While this is happening, Naga, I don't know if Naga's going to die. They've already popped a Tango. They just got hit by the Blood Grenade. They're not in a Bramble Maze at the moment, but they are getting chased by Moose and El Misho. I just don't think they'll have the speed to be able to catch up. Actually, I don't know.
You got Dejanora, you got 20% extra damage coming in and the 10% movement speed reduction, plus the Blood Grenade, another 15% slow.
Yeah, they've got one extra Blood Grenade on Moose as well, so that's really what might turn it for me.
Yep. And also the fact that they only have 1 minute of that pause time remaining from... This is still the same game. It was just remade the server, hoping that it would fix the issue. They are going to have to unpause this game very quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is. Like, if you're just... He got into the game, he got to the laning stage just fine, so... Yep. It's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
At least looking at the client-side status, there's just one player on reserved, so everyone else shows active. Maybe there is something intervening with his connection to the game. It could just be his own internet connection. I mean, I had something. This was a bit of an unfortunate story, but back in 2019, I almost ruined my own caster career with a corrupted IP address.
Oh man!
I spent 9 months trying to fix the issue. I had my ISP visit my house. I had them check everything. I changed it to a different operator, all to find out that my PC had a corrupted IP address that got fixed with the command DNS flush. And that fixed everything. And apparently, the PC is supposed to do that every single time you shut down and open your PC. It's supposed to do it automatically. But for some reason, it wasn't doing it. Then everything worked fine. I'd stream for 2 minutes, my upload hits 0, then my download goes to 0, and I just couldn't stream. I couldn't do any production, I couldn't do any casting. So that was, you know, that was my 2019. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not something similar here on the side of Dibujitos, but Beast Coast says they are ready, time is up, game is going to be resumed, and Beast Coast, I think they can now freely unpause the game. It will be a 5 versus 4 competition. Someone's going to have to take over Tylon.
For now. Bamboo's missing a couple of those hammers onto the Naga Siren. And I would have to assume that Naga's probably going to be microing this Queen of Pain, at least for the meantime. That's exactly what's happening. He's just sitting in the tree line up on the top side.
I guess what you can do with this Lina is maybe, you know, stack some camps with the Naga while trying to get the most out of this Queen of Pain. But it's not going to be an easy mission, so this just got a whole lot harder. And Beast Coast, well, You did say that they can make mistakes, and I think that is something that Dibujitos is hoping to happen. Now it just got a whole lot bigger. Does Beast Coast get a bit too... teams do sometimes maybe get a bit arrogant and underestimate their opponents, but it would be a big, decisive lead to have to throw away at this point.
It's so rough as well because they also weren't able to block up the hard camp in this safe lane, so you're also worrying about your leader not getting enough net worth because of all of this. You know, we're seeing Wits miss a bunch of last hits as well as a result of all of this. It just doesn't feel good at all, considering you can't put any pressure up.
It's definitely going to be really tough. Yeah, Wits burns, doesn't it? Indeed. Naga finding an outlet, even though... At least bottom lane is one where we do have even matchups because, you know, Demon, Frank on the Visage, still doing pretty good on the CS department here. You do want to look for kills with the death toll, so every kill counts for this Visage now.
True, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it.
Attempt to reconnect to the game. Can he stay in this time?
Ooh, he's kind of...
Looks like he's on the move, so he's back in. All right, so we're back to 5v5, ladies and gents. Tai Lung back in action.
What's his ping like? What's the status look like? Because to me, his movement seems like someone that's lagging.
So if he goes by the name Tai, ping is 6.
Okay, maybe not.
There's someone with 51, but I don't know that. Your ping is almost 300, just like mine.
Yep. I don't think there's many places
we're like
as far away from Australia.
Yeah, exactly. We're like in we're in the Bermuda's Triangle, right? Like the guys are playing in SA, you're in Australia, I'm in Europe, like all the way in the Nordics.
Hold up, top side.
So far away from each other's wits. LSA stun connects onto the Centaur. Once from the Naga, keeps Vitaly at bay. But, I mean, the good thing about a level 1 Naga is he's still got 5 armor to work with. If they can convert into a kill on El Micho, first blood. And there's the instant trade. Vitaly could drop the body blocks, might be enough wits. He lets that one right click go. Cancel it for a moment, but the Dragon Slave will finish Vitaly off.
Alright. Feeling a lot happier about things now, right? It did go over to the Naga side, but I suppose considering the amount of impact in the lane they had to sacrifice when they were microing.
Another Pike is dropping low here. Another blast from the Visage is gonna do it.
Death toll.
Money, 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 money into the pocket of the Visage here. So yeah, like I said, saving grace, much needed that Dibujitos gets these early kills.
Hold on. Oh, he's already got the repel, so won't be expending that valuable... I was about to say that valuable mana for the laning stage. But I think he's going to be very happy just being able to sit back and pick up this farm close to the tower. You always have those big power spikes at every odd level on the Visage in particular.
Yep. And this Facet has changed this hero completely, because before you used to play like 1-1-4 or 4-1, maxing out a bit of Graveskeeper's Cloak. He always had 1 point of Soul Assumption, but now the Death Toll is like, we want 2 to 3, maybe even max out the Soul Assumption. Has changed the build on this hero completely.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. I like more aggressive Dota, especially for the lanes.
Yeah.
Just feels much more exciting. You know, you want to see players go for that high risk, high reward play.
Yeah, and I think like it's been. I've had a lot of fun playing this hero. I've had a lot of fun watching Visage players have a great time, but there are these occasional games where it's like, well, this Visage is like 4 last hits, he can't get close. So
upside.
Yes, Tall has definitely changed things. El Micho, yeah, dead to Tai Lung, also making a move, help out Wits. And the Naga Siren to pick up a kill again. That's the 4th one now.
It's just so ridiculous, man. Naga Siren 405 movement speed. Yes, it did just change to nighttime, but still, like, how is a Dark Willow with what does he got? 320 movement speed supposed to get away from that. And you've got the Deluge on top of everything.
Yeah. It's the ultimate chasing ability. Visage, though, 3 versus 1 in the bottom lane, getting chased. The Blood Grenade connects as well. We're watching Vitaly in the top lane, but here is the action. Visage there. Batrider TPing in. They can't save the Visage. And Moose also repels himself so he doesn't get flame breaked under the tower. And can't find a chance to reply.
And because of that, like, it's It's one of these things where Demon was there in the mid lane helping out, securing the power rune, doesn't end up protecting his Visage, TPs anyway, and then the Storm Spirit gets the... It's only an Invis rune, so it's only not the worst one, but it's going to enable him to go for potentially another kill onto this Visage if he's not careful. They're all still here on Beast Coast.
Invis right behind the Visage, instant Vortex, catching the Visage into the root under the tower, and he will not die. Now Lumpy and Moose going to be forced back away. Pyke does try to help out with the Lucent Beam a bit. They've got a big wave. The Visage needs to clear. Lumpy going for the jump under the tower, diving the Visage while they're chasing Moose on the other side. Lumpy will take down the Visage, and now El Misho with Pyke. They can do some damage here. Tylon does have to blink ready, but the root connects first. Lumpy jumping back into action, trying to delete the Queen of Pain. Has a bit of more mana for another for another Ball Lightning. Everyone does get the bottle and a quick refill for himself. Lumpy's they're just both gonna walk back to the mid lane by the looks of it.
He had his boots in his backpack the entire time as well on Tylong, so could have potentially, maneuvered himself even better in that skirmish, but certainly kills on Visage back to back, especially after he got that early death toll kill onto the Luna. Feels very, very impactful. He will at least pick up the Wisdom rune for himself, so it brings him up to level 5. Again, got that bit of a power spike, and more importantly, bring yourself closer to summoning those familiars.
Talking about the auras, that is going to be the drums coming out first for the Visage. Lining it up, wanting to get a bit of tempo going on for the team.
Yeah, again, I don't hate it. It's just, I don't know how much value you actually get from anyone but yourself. Like, Lena's already attacking pretty quickly. Quap, not really a right-clicker in a lot of these fights, at least not to any significant extent. And same sort of thing with the Naga Siren and the Bat Rider, right? Not really right-clicking in a lot of these engagements. I guess the drums is nice for the Bat, just for the movement.
Yeah, I think pre-blinks, even if there is Stampede, you have to find ways to catch your opponents. Moose keeping an eye open on Lumpy here in mid. Is pretty much of a 2v2 lane for the time being. 2v3 even, as El Misho with that Arcane Rune hasn't left either. But they are happy just leaving the Centaur top. Nothing they can really do to this hero. But the thing is, Vitaly does get reeled in at the top lane. Laguna Blade coming out too. But,
Three braces.
There's the Stampede coming out.
He didn't deluge. He was there.
He didn't deluge, yeah.
He was off cooldown. Right on top of him. Maybe he doesn't know. Or maybe he does and it's been fixed.
But we will never know, right? The audience needs to know the answer to this.
Might have just seen an Observer Ward placed down there. I think the Sentry's just in range as well. So that Observer Ward placed down by Demon is going to be picked out. Because the Visage ended up securing the Wisdom rune, they're going to need to give a little bit of this solo XP over to the Bat Rider. I'd be pretty careful, though, of his positioning. Like, Lumpy's pretty high on mana, and he's level 9 already on this Storm Spirit, so it certainly looked to put him in a whole world of hurt.
Moose finds the stacks in the triangle. Lumpy's coming in to clean those up. They tried to gank the Visage for the last half a minute. Visage had his scan on point, so he knew something was up. Now that their triangle is getting contested, they didn't lose the kill, but they will lose a couple of neutrals there.
They'll lose the tower as well.
I like it. Pyke's just too powerful.
And they'll probably lose another power rune. Let's see. Lumpy lucks out. It's a haste rune on the bottom side of the map. Knows that no one's really going to be able to secure it before him. So, yeah, just already level 9. Able to make all of these movements. I think he's got the Blitz Knuckles just, but that should be enough to be able to secure a lot of these kills, especially onto the Visage. Got to make sure he's kept under control.
Yeah. Absolutely. I actually found something interesting here. So the Lucent Beam with the Moonstorm actually works on Visage birds. So if you cast it on one of the birds, you get the damage buff on yourself. Didn't know that. That was pretty interesting. Because I was wondering, like, Visage is full HP. How does Luna have the buff? And ended up that she cast it on one of the familiars.
It's one of those creep heroes.
Creepy heroes? Support's soaking up XP in mid, trying to get their level 6s. Willow's almost got it. Bat Rider needs a full level for it. Missions to top by Moose, just a quick D ward. Yeah, we've been SA has been fanatical about these twin gate wards.
Oh yeah.
It's as if they've learned it yesterday and they want to keep on doing it. Lumpy gets the jump on the Naga, and can they blow her up before the song comes out? The mirror image and the zap. The tally. I think maybe
probably could have got away if he just songed instead of using the mirror image.
I think so too.
Oh well. It happens. You still have the song now available, worth. And maybe they go for another sort of play and you get a turnaround potential. I mean, you're really on point. You can set up for some great stuff with, you know, Light Strike Array, with Sonic Wave in particular. It's one of those, like, ones where it can be, like, passing through them as you break it, right? And it's still going to be doing the damage. And a free bottle refill. He hasn't gotten all that lucky. He has Tai Lung with the power in placement, and this time around, you're actually keeping the supports in the mid lane. It's going to be bottom again, but very importantly, Storm Spirit is not going to get the regen.
Tali and Elmisha, they're finishing off the top T1, Moose protecting mid, and a bit of a chase on Pike there by Visage, but not enough to kill the Luna, just more to keep her at bay. They can start working their way towards that T1 and bottom, using a drum charge for it for the first time. Will help you with the extra push. But while we're talking about that, also Moose and Lumpy setting their sights to the T1 in mid. A lot of missing heroes on the map. They're going to realize that Dibujitos are focusing on the T1 in bottom. They've already lost top. They might lose mid. Lumpy jumps on Demon in the mid lane, catching the Bat Rider. That's going to be an easy clean up there for Lumpy.
He's going straight into that Blink Dagger. Yeah.
Can they get the wits?
Maybe.
Into the stun. Not much we can do about this. Tylon rotated in for this one with the Sonic Wave and the level 4 Scream. Fortunately, it does nothing to Vitali, and jump Elmisha. Is it really worth using all of that on a support? Probably might have to use it for something else.
It's one of these things where Lena's just such a glass cannon, right? Having a look at a bunch of her items, essentially 0 stats outside of the wand and a little bit from the Iron Brand. She'll get a little bit more once you finish up the Atos into the the Glipnir, but doesn't take too much, especially now that, you know, Dark Willow with the throwing shade, you just do so much damage with that Bedlam within the Shadow Realm.
You did talk about the squishiness of this draft. They don't exactly have a high amount of HP until we get to late game. Probably not even then.
This is like the definition of a glass cannon draft, right? Like, even the Visage, right? You've got drums, which is good, a couple of braces and Gravekeepers. So Visage itself is reasonably tanky. What about the rest of the team? You know, you're the offlaner. It's kind of your job to be the one soaking up a lot of the damage, to be providing a lot of this stuff to protect the rest of your team. And even the next items that he's going for, it's a Vlad's. So that's not really going to do too much in the way of protection if you're just getting 100 to 0. Maybe even like it.
Lumpy diving in for a kill onto the Naga Siren. There is 3 heroes in the area. Lumpy will take a quick poke there from Visage's Birds, and the Soul Assumption is maxed out, by the way. So Moose, he can't take too many of these hits until he will fall. He Guardian Angels for nothing. That doesn't soak up any of the damage because it's all magical based here. Vitali and Onisho stampede in. Visage may have just crossed the boundary. And talk about again who walks into the high ground. Well, not exactly anyone feels comfortable doing it, so they will just lose the Visage on the point.
That's what you got birds for, you know? They should be the ones leading the charge, being in a riskier position.
Highland chosen mid. They might find another target. They're pinging wits.
I think they're waiting on Bedlam cooldown as well. They know they wouldn't have that if they just instantly went onto the Quap. They've got that great ward down as well to be able to scout out the Lina. This should be another kill.
This is definitely a kill at this point. Now with the blink stun, fall off on Omisho. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, gotta work for that. It's totally worth it. 7,000 net worth Lina down to the grave.
At least Demon was able to secure that Wisdom Rune. I'm a little surprised they didn't instantly go and check for it on Beast Coast, so they're not going to be falling as far behind there as Lumpy is behind the Tier 2 tower, just looking for a bit of a freebie. Actually, finally goes for that Wisdom Rune and almost completely depletes his mana in the process.
Yeah, I mean, he's calibrating his jumps, right? He's suspecting the opponent to be in the smart position, but it's actually closer than he thinks, so he has to come all the way back.
But yeah, again, like, who's the body that stands in between you and just being able to run at these towers? Pyke just... You saw it when he was taking the tier 1 tower bot, right? Like, it was only Visage there, and he's like, okay, who cares? I'll take a... I think it was a 7-minute tier 1 bot tower. That is pretty damn rare for a safe lane to gain a tower at that stage.
You're gonna have to come up with something. I can't think of anything right now. There's no body to put in between. I mean, they're all punching bags.
Yeah, and even like what I was saying before about what I really like about Batrider as a support is that you force people to make rotations towards you as a support, but he doesn't really have the items to... Oh, sorry, another death coming through for Tylung, unfortunately. Although the shield rune might save him.
The song comes out too, and yeah, he stays alive, but can you turn this somehow? Sonic Wave?
Oh, no. That missed everybody.
At least they get El Micho, and maybe Moons as well. He is finally getting something of it out of that Guardian Angel, but Wits will finish him off. So a double kill for the Lina out of that. Fortunate for Tylung. Doesn't hit anybody with that Sonic Wave, but it is enough of, let's say, distraction, I guess, at this point. I know it's a bit mean to say that, but Lina gets something out of it.
You did get the Soul Assumption, the Death Toll as well, on the Visage. Brings him closer to level 12 as well, which is another big power spike. It's going to bring him a little bit closer towards the pipe, too. So eventually, you're going to have a bit more of that sustain, allowing people to go on the front lines, but you still don't have it quite yet. And what I was saying before about Demon, it's very good that he was able to participate in those couple of kills as well, is I kind of wanted to see him go, maybe not Tranquils, but even just a Windlace, right? And just cut waves, play behind towers, especially in this bottom lane, right? Like, you've got a bit of vision to be able to play safely, play super deep, force them to rotate down to you, and let the Visage get, you know, a little bit more free farm. Same sort of thing with the Lina without fear of getting ganked.
All these, well, at least the bottom tier 2 tower gone. You've only got top and mid left for Dibujitos. So that map is starting to feel really small for the team right now.
Do they feel like they can fight? I mean, they've got this Blink Dagger reveal on Demon, but without the Sonic Wave, it's 10 seconds away. Maybe they just want to shove the lane out one more time, and then Tylung will TP back to the rest of the boys.
Yeah, well, they see Lumpy, but also at the same time, they did put down a lane ward, which shows the Visage's location. Sorry, the Batrider's location. So there goes your Blink Dagger, as Demon will just go down, and nobody is getting there in time.
Yeah, they know they've got vision, but too little too late, right?
Yeah. That's a tower down as well. Every kill leads into an objective. Beast Coast on a full roll.
They're going to get more. Look at these deep wards, right? Behind towers, just realizing that there is no resistance. We can just keep running. Wits dead.
Yep, and that is also under a ward. Yep, you guessed it. Pyke can have the easiest Luna game so far. Everything is being handed out to him.
Yeah, I mean, all he needs to do is sit back. I mean, Lumpy's the one that I'm most impressed with, right? Like, you beat Quap, although Quap didn't really go the anti... your net worth build, but I guess he didn't really have an opponent for the first couple of minutes of the game, but still, oh, no way.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they actually catch the Visage as well behind enemy lines next to their base, and the bird, so that's even Luna getting something out of that too. And Tylung getting jumped on. Can they keep the co-op in place? Doesn't look like it. They just have to burst, not the damage.
Ward is still behind the tower, so they know just how deep they can go. Blink Dagger up in another couple of seconds for Vitali.
You don't see Demon, but they suspect the bat to be there.
I think he went into the ward vision briefly. Yeah, there you go. They see him now. They know he's got the blink as well, but wouldn't you know it? Luna, Glaives, cancels it.
Yeah, just a smart back out there as well from Beast Coast.
But where Frank was just playing on the Visage, that's where I've been wanting to see Demon play on this Batrider, right? Like, why aren't you behind towers? Why aren't you, as a support, bringing the enemy team's attention away?
Yeah, not a whole lot of split pushing action from the supports. You're right about that. And probably not even the Naga. Like, I'm not sure if the hero is strong enough Level 9. Great waves take a while to kill.
Mm-hmm.
But at least the bat, you've got the abilities to do so. Smoke up aggressively from Beast Coast right next to him, and Wits is again getting caught here at the same time. Lumpy will get the blow up on Wits. Island does get the Sonic Wave. Lumpy dies with that BKB just being completely worn out. Vitaly and El Micho on the runaway.
Still got Song.
Right on top of him. The terrorized from El Micho. Vitaly dead, 2 cores down. And even more with the deluge slowing down the Dark Willow. Nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Try your best at it, but he's just surrounded by targets. Tai Lung will get one as well. So 3 for the cost of this Lina, and now we saw a good Sonic Wave.
We did, and I mean, the big thing that we didn't see, though, was Moose participating in that team fight at all. I mean, he was farming mid lane at the time, you know, maybe just really wanting to get that Solar Crest, make sure that the Luna's plenty buffed by the time she wants to join the fights, and you would have to assume it's going to be pretty soon, right? Like, you pretty much got the Hurricane Pike finished up now, I believe. Going into the Kanda next, should be hitting that at a time similar to the level 20 mark. So you can really just double benefit from that. But yeah, a little bit odd that we didn't see a Repel, we didn't see a Pavus, we didn't see a Guardian Angel, nothing.
Storm just soaking up all that damage, and by the time Lumpy gets to Ball Lightning that pops the BKB, he died right away.
Yep. It's not going to stop you from taking damage from the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, exactly. But Beast Coast, they're going to make things safer this time around with Pike heading into the Roche pit. Roche already down to half HP.
They don't have a smoke, so I think they're just taking the conservative route, getting the Tormentor for themselves. Would not hate getting it for this Naga Siren, right? Especially if Stinger is able to get into level 12 as well. And that is, well, there we go. That's a lot of healing now that you're able to get if he is able to just reach that next level. 8% a second.
Yeah, just a little bit more experience needed for the Naga to get that. That is definitely a big turnaround ability. And with heroes that aren't exactly the tankiest, you're going to want everything you can get to keep this lineup alive. Storm jumping in already, catches Demon. Demon blinks to safety. Lumpy doesn't follow.
Oh, did he actually right-click him? Because he's got the Gossamer Cape, so it might have enabled him to just get away from that. It's happened a couple of times now that Demon's just been able to dodge out the actual zip damage. And as long as he, you know, it's just a right-click hitting him, he's A-okay.
That is the last outer tower gone. They already pinged the bottom lane. The wave is close. East Coast. They're going to bring the fight to Dibujitos' base. He's jumping over the Visage. He's going to need some quick backup here. He just dropped to half HP. He doesn't have the shard, so he has no save.
Got the pipe, though.
Push them out at least. East Coast, just a quick poke and back. Visage Birds finished off a T1. There's a double Wisdom as well. Not a lot of happenings or action there in the top lane. So
I mean, it just goes to show what Beast Coast feel is the weakness of this Dibujitos draft, right? We don't need to go back to our side of the map. We could just keep punishing, and you've already got an Aegis for Lumpy to be able to play around with. Now he's got a Shield Rune as well. Wonder if he'll actually go back and just might be Pike that ends up securing those Wisdom Runes. Would have been nice if you used the Visage Birds to deny it.
Almost level 19 picking up double Wisdom Runes there, and have been waiting for a while, gaining more XP, but now at the same time they've got Moose caught, and that is enough to blow up the Omni Knight. Lumpy will follow, the Aegis is gone, Wits does use his BKB.
That was through the Shield Rune.
Right there next to him, does get the BKB off with a jump onto Demon, gets to do a bit of damage, but is it enough for a kill? Nobody is really around here. Centaur is paying attention. Terrorize comes out onto the Naga. Does he get feared far enough for the Storm to get released? No, the LSA stun will finish the song, but the web will not. And it will punish Lumpy for the second time this game.
I don't know, it feels a little odd to me, right? Like, they're just not grouping up when it feels like they're in such a strong position. You know, everyone seems to have their own idea of, you know, what is our strong timing, what can we look to play around with. Pike probably wants his level 20, wants to have that Kanda, just to be able to play around with it, but I don't think they really need it. You know, you've got a Solar Crest on the Omni Knight, you've got level 2 ulti, you've got a Blink Dagger and a mech on the Dark Willows. Centaur's tanky as hell. Still no Crimson Guard, though, which I'm very surprised about.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a powerful roster with all their abilities. They're gonna just drop the Eclipse on top of the Visage, not allow the Visage to escape, but all of the extra right-click damage from Pyke is gonna be enough to take him down. Stampede to chase down maybe even more. Vitaly's Blink is up in 3 seconds. Demon on the high ground, to teleport away. Pyke and the
very
Vitaly's
odd choice to pop the Pyke that late. Like, he had it off cooldown the entire time, and well, they found another very, very easy kill. You just see how quickly they get blown up by the... Yeah. That's just the Phylactery at that point.
Yes, I was about to say the same.
Kanda's coming out now as a result of those couple of kills, so...
Meso comes out, moves,
nice
running after the target, does get the repel off, saves Pyke for now. Doesn't have enough HP to work with, but Tylone feared up to terrorize, might just be too much for the Queen of Pain to recover. And Lumpy going straight for Wits here with the BKB, dodges the LSA stun, triple for Lumpy. And you know, they could have done this maybe, what, 7 minutes ago, but they've done it now.
They've done it now, and that's the important thing. Base opened up as well, so there we go. Lunar Glaives bouncing around, happy days. They're going to be able to not only take this, but just go down to the other lanes if they really want to. They feel like they can't just straight up end it right now. Yeah, it was a really late pipe pop by Frank, which meant that it was just the right-click damage from the Lunar that ended up killing him. Bit of a mistake there, and you know, again, by not having all of these auras, just sacrificing so much of your team's survivability.
Naga sitting around there for a moment, opens up a possibility for beastcoast to find another kill, make that 22 now. Bottom lane rack secured. They will still not get their full 5-man roster up with this Naga dying for 40 seconds. They're going to be 4v5.
Again, I mean, I understand not wanting to pop pipe just for an Naga Siren, but when they're kind of hitting into your base, you need that Naga alive. You would have been able to, you know, Glimmer Cape, Parvis himself, probably get away from
maybe burn, yeah. Turn or save, but now Mega Creeps is looming. 15 seconds for the Naga Siren. Pyke is taking a while to get through this tier 3 tower, but once that is gone, bouncing glaives are going to be all over the blade, all over the place.
Look at that, like Demon just can't. He's got to use the smoke and just get it onto the backlines.
Scouting aggressively, gets the pop. No, somebody's in the trees. It's probably the Queen of Pain. Lumpy is going to double check again. Is someone around? Doesn't pop this time, and they back out. They don't want to get caught by the Naga's web.
They saw them just go into that that smoke with the creeps inside the base, so they know to back off entirely. Again, little surprised that they haven't completely gripped up as 5. I guess they're close enough on the Storm Spirit that that's not going to be an issue, but yeah, Moose just needs to be playing on the backside of all of these wards, because it's still taking a... I just don't see how you find this Omni Knight if his positioning is solid, you know? Like, yeah, Bat Rider's not going to find you. And no one else has the capability of just going in and blowing you up. There's no Orchid on the Queen of Pain, so...
There we go. Naga Siren might just be gone once again. Does she get the song off in time? No. And Lumpy is about to have it. BKB comes up just in time. They got another beautiful combo on the stuns. And that's going to close out the game pretty much. 3 heroes out. Wits Demon going to be running all the way back to the fountain once they started this game from. Here does catch the Willow. ABL Micho drops, but another blink stun from Vitaly. Wits will have to pop the BKB to dodge that stun. And Mega Creeps, just the tier 4s, but Wits is going to call it. They've seen enough of this game 1.
Yes, they have. And yeah, it just felt like, again, way too squished. It wasn't as balanced of a draft as what we saw from Beast Coast. One of those things where I don't even want to call this experience, right? Because
at Ags, if they can snowball early out of the laning stage, I feel like they have a very strong exit from the laning stage with this lineup.
Yeah. All right, so I have a thing, like, this does feel very much for Protect 1, right? For the Deucer, just enabling the Deucer as much as possible. But even though Wits is the position 1, and you need to be, obviously, you know, enabling your damage and all that sort of thing, this needs to be, in my opinion, a game where at level 10, he goes the Breathe Fire damage reduction talent. Because you use that onto a Deucer early game, that's 60% flat damage reduction. And if you're using all this stuff to amp her up, and you're able to just remove 60% of that, then you feel, I guess, neutered is the best way to put it, as moves.
Maybe, yeah, that's a first blood by the looks of it. Great way to start the Beastmaster's game, getting a... How did he see that one coming? That has to be some sort...
predicting the camp block, right? Like,
Yeah,
you saw
I
him
mean,
drop down the sentry.
he has seen this before, and he obviously read that one very well, because not a lot of Beastmasters, unless they've done their prep, would be waiting on the bridge there for somebody to show up and block their camp. On the Dire side, like if you're on the Radiant side, you just maybe have 1-2 heroes inside your own triangle, position there, get any info if they show up or not, but this was a really, really important move, because Beastmaster needs all the money he can get towards that axe.
Yeah. Just having a look on the bottom side as well. How are they going to stick with 3 people down here just to try and get a little bit of damage first into this bottom lane? Looks like Stinger's just going to move back up top, realizing that it's still important to make sure Wits gets off to a good start.
You got this Hag of the Forest showing up into the top lane.
Mm-hmm.
Paired up with the DK. Pretty tanky two fellas. And decisive amount of damage with these two.
Honestly, all of the Dibujitos roster seems pretty tanky, right? Like,
it's very different to game 1, eh?
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's something that their coach was like, what is this? Like, why did we do this? Why do we make life so hard for ourselves? This isn't the meta.
Yeah, we don't have to push already against the difficult opponent, make a hard mode, like Iron Man mode challenge going on here.
Mm-hmm.
That tankiness will play into their favors, because you are going to have prolonged and extended fights versus this Medusa. You need to live to kill everybody else and then get the Medusa out of the way.
Mm-hmm. So it's about, like, most of the time against a Medusa, you want to just try and outrange her as much as possible, right? Like, and there are heroes that are capable of doing that. You know, Lina, occasionally people would try in the Gyrocopter to be able to do it. Of course, just mana burn as well is a really nice way. Or you could just kite her out, or, like I've been saying over and over again, kill the supporting cast. If you're going to go for Protect 1, just kill everyone else, and then Medusa is very much manageable. So, I think we might see probably a little bit of a slower early game, just particularly from the Dibujitos side, right? They want Tai Long to be able to get into that Blink Dagger, to be able to make these rotations.
Well, as you say that, top lane, bit of a chase on Vitaly with the Blood Grenade, but one simple Torrent prevents their attempts on that kill. And I just wanted to bring up on Lumpy, he's changed from the traditional, well, I would say traditional, today's Invoker build, Wraithband into Bracer instead of double Wraithband.
Maybe he just feels like he needs to be a bit tankier against a lot of that burst, right? Like we've been saying, you've got a lot, so I understand it, and you're not really feeling too in danger in the laning stage, I suppose. Yeah.
Mainly maybe a bit of a tip for some of those Invoker players probably watching the stream right now, that you don't always go for double Wraithband.
Nice little toss back underneath the tower.
Yeah, nice amount of damage, but does have to Ghost Walk. Does end up dropping pretty low, but at the same time, Tai Long, pretty much all of his mana used there. There's the Water Rune in his bottle, and a couple of charges on top of it.
Yeah. But I don't like seeing Tinies that just straight up rush like boots Blink Dagger. I think you need power treads to be able to make it work, because, you know, in terms of damage done, in terms of being able to just still kind of passively farm between gank attempts, I think it is very important. Even just the potential of like tread switching to make sure that your Avatos isn't using as much mana in terms of your overall pool, because Tiny doesn't have a ton to be able to play around with, even with the model.
Yeah, it's very limited mana pool capabilities. But you are right here in the first 4 minutes. Not a whole lot of action. That first blood was also before the game started. Another set of Water Rune spawning Invoker by, at the moment, the least CS, but not by a lot compared to the Tiny. He does have a couple more denies. He just simply has the higher damage output. SD dropping low, moves dead. And another one for the Beastmaster. So he's off to a great start. Comparing to that Visage game where you might have gotten a kill, but you also got killed in the lane. He's already finished his mana boots, and he's on par with his item timings.
I mean, Beastmaster is just one of those heroes where I almost feel like it's never a bad Beastmaster game. You're always able to make something work with this hero. Say that as he might be about to die.
Yeah, the Gorgon's Grasp is out there. One more hit as well for the slowing Venomous Volley. 3 stacks of poison only applied by Moose. It's not going to be enough to kill the beast. He also did get a sizable magic wand out of all those abilities.
Even using his board to be able to make an extra stack. So again, more value being given to that first blood that he was able to claim, and of course getting rid of the sentry ward blocking up his own camp. They've already got, is that a triple or a quad stack of the Ancients? Whatever it might be, feels really, really nice to be able to have, and he's going to get a nice Ags timing.
Top lane, both laners just farming behind their T1 towers. Bit of wave cutting shenanigans going on. Now also a quick pull there by the Trin Protector. Get that lane to get a bit closer towards the T1. I think it's really important to understand. Okay, support battle. Really important to understand when you make a single pull from the easy camp, because a lot of those, like I would say in pro levels, but in general in pubs and outside of that, people don't necessarily understand when to properly do it, and they just end up briefing the lane really hard.
Yeah, you got to understand what the equilibrium looks like, whether there's the potential of them to dive you, whether there's a siege creep there that could potentially be doing damage to your tower. Even just, hold on, bottom side of the map. No power in there just yet.
Beastmaster also coming into action. The toss, oh, that's a lot of damage. Moves will go down to the tree toss from Tai Lung. There's the full bore being thrown in, but now we do have that early living armor point, so Beastmaster doesn't take a whole lot from Invoker's right clicks.
Dire's bottom tower
We'll have to walk out from this one, and another kill here for the Dire side.
Around. Gotta be careful here on Frank.
Radiant structures
Potentially being dived underneath it. He's skirting the edges of that tower vision.
Yeah, now he knows. Oh no, Ghost walks on me. What's up? The stick, but that's not enough. EMP
Probably gonna
bring us a snake.
stick around here. Oh, are they gonna yoink away this stack? There's gonna be a big brawl around here. You've got
Or the wisdom at 10.
rune. Yeah, and a big stack.
Someone's going to have to come to the rescue. Tai Lung is too far away. They're going to have to fight 2 versus 3. Maybe somebody dies in between. The tornado is there. Wisdom stolen by Lumpy and a kill on top. Tiny is too late for the party.
Look at all the boys. They're all
Beastmaster coming in as well. Bringing in another challenger to the fray. Ancients getting pulled. They're actually doing some damage here towards
This is so
and Tai Lung.
clowny.
Tai also buffing the Stone Gaze. DK stun thrown out onto Lumpy. And this Invoker should now finally be done with. Get that XP rune, but we'll pay for his.
There was 8 people at that part of the map, dude. That's crazy.
And even the Ancient's getting a bit of a poke in between too.
Bit of a sentry blocking up the camp as well. No one was able to scout out that vision on the high ground, but they do have someone.
Lumpy and by the Invoker as well, so he was handed out a sentry to do that mission.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Now there's 3 versus 1 in mid. DK and Tiny here. Lumpy might die again. He just TP'd into this mid lane. He's going to get caught. The Invoker can't even get to the haste rune. Tossed into the air. Oh, 27 HP, and the blood grenade isn't enough. And the full bore demon. The sharpshooter.
This is why I like Snapfire. You can just do these little things where it's like, alright, cool.
Satisfying. Now bottom. We're fighting again. Onto the Beastmaster. The arrow will catch him off. El Misho will get the 3rd kill for Beast Coast here. Pike. That's a half mana, but has a mango, has a healing lotus for himself. El Misho's already picked up the double. But as they've used the bolt and everything, they're
he wants to yoink
this
away.
back.
Level 7 on the Conquer.
Maxed out Tidebringer. Could do it. Just doesn't have the rum to work with. Torrent under the X mark.
They want to take out the tower
in.
first.
Will not connect onto the tree, but it's not even needed.
Again, we might even see 10 people on this one side of the map.
Oh, he does get the kill on moves, but he won't be able to get anything else here. Another toss is available, and that haste rune is still active. He could hunt Vitaly all the way through. Axis trying to get the connection, but no, Tai Lung will not go under the tower for this dive.
I'm sure they're saying, just take the stack right now. We can't afford to keep playing down here on this side of the map. Yeah, Lumpy's just pushing mid. He's like, all right, you don't want to focus me? Well, be very, very happy to do that. So they get a glimpse of them coming up here. He needs help. I mean, he's gonna have Stinger here helping him out a little bit, but
this is so comedic. Everyone's living in it. They're just gonna kill the Mirana, sure.
Drop the board. do it.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, they got the tower. Even if they don't get the stack, Beastmaster gets to clean this one up.
Overall, though, you got to say it's probably favoring Dibujitos, right? Like, yeah, you lose a tower, but you get the big objective that was being contested all this time. You've got 2 heroes that are still looking pretty healthy in terms of net worth. Medusa, I guess she hasn't had a ton of stacks made for her, and she still hasn't died a single time. Do like the fact that she's going straight up Manta style. I know that's...
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All right, he's okay.
I know that's pretty standard Manta, but again, like, just you don't want to get breathe fired, basically. Like, you want to make sure that you can just Manta that off. That's what you're going to be saving it for. That, or of course, Overgrowth, to be able to regularly participate in a lot of these team fights.
Yeah. Not sure if you have a lot of variation in Medusa builds, do you?
Not really. No. Could probably afford to go maybe a bit more into like maybe movement or survivability, considering you're gonna be getting damage from Alacrity and Solar Flare.
Oh yeah, the Dispersers and the Swift Blinks. Which one do you prioritize more?
Oh, Disperser for sure this game. Going up against a Treant? Hell yeah. Just get rid of that Overgrowth.
Radiant's top
Still remember the
tower is
days
under
when they
attack.
used to build Satanic on this hero.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It would be wild, though, if you had, like, say, a 600 HP Medusa healing up with Satanic, staying alive, and they're always so close to killing, and he just goes back to full HP the whole time. That would be wild.
That'd be sick. Is that... No. Oh no, I'm looking at Treant Protector. Beastmaster's
man.
almost got his Ags, though.
4-man move towards the bottom lane.
Radiant's top tower
Yars
is
farming
under
these
attack.
stacks. Treant is half HP. Beastmaster, he's feeling pretty healthy. The axe is flying in, but they're going to get the jump on the Beastmaster first. He might just die before it gets even delivered to him, and he is gone. If only that was like maybe 5 seconds later, that could have maybe changed things completely. Demon dropping low. Pike on the chase to the Snapfire. Gets the Gorgon's Grasp to connect on him. Will take him down.
Have a toss.
Managed to take down Moose. Vitali gets another one. X-Mark, the toss.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay, alright. Yeah, that was something. El Micho dies in the end. Pike's mana is dangerously low. Has a mango, has a stick, but it's not good enough with the burst that he has to go up against a double DPs at the same time trying to catch Vitali. And with that cat cookie, that might just be enough. Loss in, sends the creep, slows down the Kunkka and the boar poison. Vitali's going nowhere.
That was a really cool Xbox play. Like, it saved the Mirana from the toss, because the Xbox just brought him back. But then Mirana just ended up walking underneath a tier 2 tower and dying to tower hits. So, kind of ruining the cool play a little bit there. But you know what? It is what it is. You still were able to get, was that 2 or 3 buybacks out of...
Yeah, that was 2. That was Demon
and Stinger.
Stinger, yeah.
Well, again,
pretty entertaining game of Dota. No.
They weren't able to use the Roar, but now you've got the Ags, so you're feeling very confident in being able to just use all of this healing onto Roshan. Pick up that one for yourself.
Some things you can do with this Aghanims. 13-minute Roshan. The only one who does it better is probably a Husker.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
They're going for a full 5-man smoke. This is something that Beast Coast weren't necessarily doing all that great themselves last game. Dibujitos, they hit a timing, and they're grouping up together. I like it. Also got
Moose
this
is in a
Flint
great
Dagger
position to
available.
pop these smokes, though, but are they going to walk into it? They're on the edge of that smoke popping, and now he got body blocked by the Tiny at the same time. Island going to get bubbled up. Beastmaster showing up to the side. He's just going to roar the Shadow Demon, not take any second chances. Secure that kill. Now pushing down mid. Island trying to blink closer to Lumpy. Not close enough to get the grab on him.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Should still be able to get this tower, though, for free, and that's all you really want, right? You want to eat into this Medusa's farm potential.
Radiant's middle
Very
tower
nicely
is
done by
under
Pike,
attack.
though, just making sure that he's the opposite side of the map to wherever they want to be. Might even force someone
Radiant's
to make a
middle
defensive
tower has
TP
fallen.
rotation just to, you know, protect this tier 2
Dire's
tower up top a little bit.
is under attack.
Potentially invading the triangle, but Treant Protector might just walk a bit too close. Solar Flare is activated by El Micho. this Treant is going to soak up some heavy hits here, even if it were just a Mirana right-clicking. Tornado, X-Mark, drops the ult for this one. Trying to turn it around with the Snapfire. Kisses, Tylung coming in with the Avalanche. They'll get Elmisho, and Treant lives. Unbelievable. Against Solar Flare, multiple heroes, and the support lives. That is wild.
He's a tanky boy, just inherently, right? And big help to, in my opinion, the most underrated item in the game, Infuse Raindrops. It just gets you out of so many sticky situations. It gives you so much value. The mana regen on top of everything else. It's giving him everything he needs right now.
Here's somebody in chat is poking. We still haven't heard T-Panda's banned heroes. It's like, oh, forgot about that completely. Can you guess one of them? I actually have talked about a specific duo. That's a tip.
Tinker?
No.
He's not one of the heroes. A duo.
Duo.
It's not like Mirana Shadow Demon, is it?
No, but it's one of the absolute worst lanes to play against.
Centaur Snapfire?
It's the Io Marcy. Both of them.
Yes. I don't feel like anyone plays Io these days, though.
Yeah, it's just that we run into a occasional game in pubs where they do play that lineup, and there's a Brute Mother, there's a Beastmaster, and they just run over you in 15 minutes, and it's just not fun. As Beastmaster also recognizes the same, dropping the roar, but can't follow up on it, seeing so much traffic nearby to that Mirana.
Hunting bounties.
And it's just about finding the backlines, right? Moo's been out of position a few times now. 6 deaths so far. This time around, though, able to be in position to be able to potentially save the time.
Fighting under a tier 2 tower. Be sure you want to take that fight even if you have that Aegis on your Beastmaster, because Tai Lung is the target of it, and this Tiny will fall flat. Also the Treant Protector. Well, he made it out once, but not going to make that same magic work twice. Beast Coast will punish. Also the two other heroes. I have an old TA, and then I also had the, wait, what was the other one? Silencer, because I play in England, so yeah. I just want to get that out of my system.
True. A very deep dive attempt onto a Kunkka, right? Like, he uses the ghost ship, he had the Admiral's Rum, he was underneath the tier 2 tower. Just having a cloak on its own is doing a fair amount itself. He's building into the pipe and getting pretty close to finishing it up as well, so you're really not as worried about the Snapfire, the Beastmaster, the Tiny, providing a lot of protection to your teammates now.
You've got a lot of big items coming up for Beast Coast as well. You look at the pipe for the Kunkka, as you just mentioned. You have Scotty lined up for the Medusa coming up first after the Manta has been finished by Pike. The crest on the Demon, and then we start to see the power of this Medusa. Scotty bringing the tank in ashore, not exactly the damage department, but you've got Solar Flare, you've got Alacrity, and then the Solar Crest from this SD.
Elmisho with the jukes. He's getting out.
Nice moves here with...
He's not getting out.
He's not getting out. Have to take our words back for that one. He touches the full bore shotgun there. Moose. Oh, what? Wait. Moose killed the Treant Protector, but Moose just... Okay, sorry, that was Elmisho. Never mind. So that was a completely separate fight that was going on. I was like, wait a minute. He was at the bottom half of the map and he's killing someone in mid. But yeah, it's a 2-for-1 trade.
It's just the power of the Shadow Demon. I gotta say, we haven't really felt the presence of Lumpy on this Invoker just yet. And I know it was kind of picked as that supporting role, right? The Alacrity is kind of queued up right now. Has to be careful about showing himself in the lane, though, especially with that Sentry Ward being dropped down.
Yeah, talk about being deep.
Ooh, Aegis just popped as well.
Radiant are scared.
Perfect timing.
For that. Yeah.
But a very weird place to be if your Aegis is expiring as well by Frank. Like, he was solo next to a tier 2 tower with Aegis expiring.
Not the place to be in, because there was nobody to hunt under the tower either. He does have that Blink Axe. I thought you'd be making plays more with that setup. Considering the good start that he's had this game, I mean, of course, he's been contested a lot in that bottom lane. We saw those long, prolonged fights, the Team 1 falling from his lane. He has panic to get that that stack finally getting cleaned up. But deaths like this, they really hinder the Beastmaster. You already got to your goal, but now you're not getting to the next step, which is becoming this big threat on the map because they're just finding you every time.
They're finding you every time, and you might be able to get the roar. You might be, I don't want to say unkillable because we just saw him die, but like you need your team with you to be able to, even if it's just Snapfire, you can get kills. You know, like it's gotten to the point, even more so once Snap reaches level 10, just for the extra 70 scatter blast damage from the talent. I don't know, like I think she's got mech coming in about 500 gold, but just with that death, it's opening up the map for them. Now you're going to lose your last tier 1 tower. It's up so much more of this ganking potential for Beast Coast to have. And I gotta say, like, DK's 3-0 and 3, it's feeling pretty good, but he only just bought the components of his BKB. He was holding on to 3,500 gold, so he had a lot of dead net worth up until that point.
He's gonna hit a scary timing as well when he does get to that data list, but it will be a while, considering that there's not a lot of activity for him to participate in, especially since he wants that BKB ready. Maybe after that, he'll participate for a fight or two. Networth is dead even between the two teams.
What's win prob? Yeah, slight Beast Coast favored. He didn't go the breathe fire damage reduction either on Wits. I understand it. He's the position 1. He feels like the extra 15 damage is going to do more damage in team fights, but just allow him to farm up that little bit more quickly. I don't know. I'm a little worried about this Dusa. Like it's even, but we haven't seen like all of these things come into combination with each other, right? Like the solar flare plus the alacrity plus Manta and all these things, and just letting Pyke sit back and do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, they bring him in for a smoke, so Beast Coast, they want to make a play happen on the map. 1 minute for Roshan's minimum spawn timer, so it's not for a Roshan, but it could be something else. If they set their sights towards the triangle, they might find a Beastmaster there. Lumpy is going to be the scout in front. Drawing some circles, suspecting somebody is farming this pattern right here. So they're going to make a move to the 21-minute Wisdom Rune by the looks of it. Also, on the other side, Dibujitos.
They're making a move of their own.
Mid. Are we just...
Maybe doing the mirror play.
Yeah. Wisdom for wisdom.
You see the line being drawn on the map. They're saying, look, just push down the lane. What's the downside? They're not here. They
Imagine them taking the Tormentor and they're going to be like, we don't want to go. Oh, there's the double Wisdom again. That's again the same thing.
Thank you very much. Just take him down,
here's
Tyler.
Testo Lumpy coming in first, but he's all alone. Doesn't have any backup right now.
How did he get out?
To safety. He actually manages to get away. They will lose their Wisdoms, but they keep their Tormentor, which they can then take for themselves on the side of East Coast.
It's a couple of times now that Tai Lung has been a little bit off with the targeting of his spells, right? Last game with the Quap, he missed a few Sonic Waves, even if they were set up with the Song of the Siren. This time around, he blinks slightly into the wrong space, so he doesn't get the toss back into the Cookie, into the Primal Roar. Would have been huge to be able to take out Lumpy, then would have opened up the Tormentor for your own team to be able to claim.
And the tower, which they are working their way through now, but there is going to be backup coming in. Vitali opens it up. He misses the combo onto Wits. He just walks away from the X mark. The Torrent came too early. So more on the other side, though. It is connected onto El Nisho, but doesn't get the solar flare off. He dies during the leap, but they do have Frank control. He's stuck inside the slow of that ice wall. Sunstrike on top of him will take him down. Tai Lung in front. The toss, they push the Medusa away, but that Stone Gaze does come out at the same time. Mortimer's Kisses have also been used. Another bubble thrown out onto the Tiny. Vitali trying to walk up to him. The PK Sun as well under the tower.
Getting the supporting cast.
He's going to be going down. Vitali, they're only down to 3 versus 4. Pyke is doing his absolute hardest here, but you can see the Medusa doesn't have the damage yet. But Mirana spawning in 3 seconds. You're going to get Solar Flare.
Another good
His fight continues to go. Wits is going in once again, trying to take down Lumpy, but they are getting the fight to turn into their favor with that Solar Flare. Pyke finally cleaning up, taking down Tai Lung and Demon. A lot of BKBs, a lot of spells, and a lot of lives taken.
A lot of lives taken, and not a lot of damage done by that Beastmaster, right? He just hasn't been able to lock onto any sort of targets. You might get the Roar, and it end up getting the first kill onto El Misho, which, again, still important, but it's early enough into the game, and his net worth isn't that high that he just ends up respawning. Like you said, uses the Solar Flare, gives 40 damage over to the Medusa, and that's only going to start to climb higher and higher. He's level 12 now as well, so plus 60 damage coming in the next fights, and Beast Coast are going to get the second Tormentor.
Bounty!
Just the fact that that fight goes on for so long that El Misho respawns. He just presses R from the fountain. That's
Easy.
why I have Silencer in my bands.
I knew you were going to mention.
It's obnoxious.
I mean, there have been games where, like, we've seen silences that literally they should just sit inside the base and do nothing else.
Yep.
And just wait for one of these big abilities.
There's a ton of physical damage on the Dire side, but the Crimson Guard almost ready on the Kunkka. That will help them prolong these fights even a bit longer.
Regeneration.
Roche is up. It's going to be greeted potentially by Dibujitos.
They gotta go for it now while they can. Where are the rest of the boys? They're backing him up a little bit with the amp damage as well on Wits, and I think he's got a Crystallis as well. Good amount of damage that they've got potential
Strong timing.
for. Gotta be pretty quick on this one though. Yeah, that roar, they're trying to use it as bait, but the Sunstrike giving them that valuable vision. They can try and find a way to get it onto the back lines. That's the important thing.
Connect, but they got El Misho once again, and Morana's going to be out for the count for 40 seconds. Even if Solar Flare's on cooldown, it would have been up very likely, but El Misho dying, that is out. Can they find a weakness point? Can they jump them in? They're clustering them all together. Lumpy does get saved for the disruption by Moose. Moose will tank the ulti instead. Pike is trying to do as much damage as possible. Dream Protect dropping low. Wits is BKB'd up, trying to hammer Vitali out of the way. The Aura carrier. Lumpy dies to the top from Tai Long. And there's the fall coming in, connecting onto two. Tiny still surviving. A quick lash of that bullwhip onto Vitali. Wits is chasing him down. And Pike is just the Medusa getting out by the looks of it. Vitali trying to away, but not going to be lucky doing so. That's
very odd position for the Mirana to be in, right? Like we were talking about just being able to take out the backlines and why we liked the tiny pick in the draft. You just see that burst damage come to the fore. Just gets on him, explodes the Mirana. You don't have the Solar Flare for that fight. If you do, you probably get at least another kill from that. You still ended up getting one, but it costs you so much more.
More kills. Buyback of the Dream Protector, but Roshan secured. Their lineup is starting to hit that, I wouldn't say peak, but they're hitting a very, very powerful timing. You mentioned that Crystallis ready on the DK, getting closer to that Daedalus, and suddenly everyone starts to feel a bit weak.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And this is the sort of game where a lot of the time you get the Breathe Fire damage / cast range in Dragon form. You might want the Elder Dragon form attack range against a Medusa, right? Just try and stay as far away from her as possible. Maybe, maybe not, right? Like, she's got the Grove Bow, so clearly realizing that that is a potential issue for Pike to have to play around. It was a good use of the Stone Gaze there, ended up interrupting the Mortimer's Kisses as well as kind of dispersing the fight a little bit, but they just need a little bit more control to enable Pike to actually hit everyone in a lot of these fights.
We're gonna have to wait a bit for that Dragonlance to be ready and the Hurricane Pike that Medusa has lined up, but the Daedalus is ready, so that's the first damage item up on the Medusa. Lumpy, gotta be careful. Oh, what a tornado! He blinked into it. There's a chance to turn. Tai Lung is not moving anywhere. Arrow stunned as well, pulled in under the tower with that EMP shard. That's your Aegis out. Really strong for them now, but Wits is trying to hammer some damage back. Lumpy tossed in by Tai Lung. The boat's flying in as well. They all got the rum buff now. I don't think Wits can do much about it anymore. They've got Mirana controls on the high ground, but that is not the kill they need. They need a whole lot more. Info makes it out with 30 HP. He died to the dust from the Treant.
Love it.
That's the first time, but that just happened.
So did he walk like back into it, or was that a fresh dust?
He walked into it, so Treant popped the dust. You could see the glimmering go in there. He walked into it, and he had 30 HP, and dust does like 50, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, dust does 25 damage. It was... died to it.
Crazy stuff.
Wow.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It really does still feel like this game could go either way. You know, like Medusa, who, by the way, going into that Disperser, I think he's realizing how much of an issue this overgrowth is for the rest of the team that hasn't had the luxury. Like, if you're going a 4 Protect 1 draft, you're sacrificing a little bit of your own potential, even as cores, right? We see no BKB on the Kunkka, we see no BKB on the Invoker, we see no BKB queued up on either of those two heroes, and still no Demonic Cleanse for Moose as well. He's actually got it queued up. So yeah, going to be the thing that he purchases next, even prior to getting that Glimmer Cape. But a Disperser solves all the team's issues. You know, they don't need to have all those items.
I was looking at the Kunkka's quick buy. Vitaly, he removed the Lincolns and replaced it with an Aghanims now. The Aghanim shard for the Kunkka. They will get the tidal wave, which helps Pyke get some more hits in. And at the same time, the double boats flying in. If they can just keep the target still and Medusa hitting everybody, that's a goal achieved. Protector right next to him, the Medusa illusions are there. They saw a glimpse of the Treant Protector. They know somebody's around.
They just get away.
Here, though.
Nice microing. I think he even learned from that first game, right? Where he walked up onto the high ground as Visage, not using the birds for the vision scouting. This time around, he was just using boars to be able to do it and then farming from, you know, a much safer position back closer towards his team. So it enables him to get on out.
Charging into the ancient location once again, but the Beastmaster has already moved away. Level 19 on the Beast, too. We're getting closer to level 20 talents on both Vitaly and for Frank.
So another one of the advantages of playing around this like 4 Protect 1 is that you can just stand and fight and they're kind of forced to come to you, which is not what you want. You want to avoid this Medusa. So this smoke is really good. Again, they want to catch the back lines. They want to go this full wraparound.
You can see Lumpy, they need to drop a sentry. They drop it down, but Lumpy already gets a jump in first. He breaks the blink off of Tai Lung. Witz is coming in with the initiation. Lumpy's going to be dropping low, but there's the bubble once again from Moose. Not getting the run buff, though, because he is out of the game for a while. But Tai Lung is dropped so damn low. So is the Dream Protector. He's going to be pushed away. Fighting all the way in the river. Moose is going to get jumped up by Witz. A disarm flies in from Lumpy, but DK is going to be able to finish him off, and also the Roar connected onto El Misho. Both supports from Beast Coast are gone, but they're still continuing with the fight. Lumpy trying to catch Tai Lung. He's a very slippery boy. Throws in the toss onto Lumpy, dropping low, and needs a toss to connect, but it's just not going to be enough damage anymore. He does get a bit of healing for himself, and Pyke able to take down Demon. So 3 for 2 in the end for Beast Coast.
We really finally start to see the Medusa have one of those fights. Have a look at the fight recap. 8.5k damage done by that Medusa. You look at the other cores, barely anything. But the important thing is they survive. They make sure that you've still got that Crimson Guard. You've still got the Pipe of Insight. You've still got, you know, multiple alacrities, multiple bits of crowd control that just let Medusa do what she does best, and that's be the full raid boss.
That was basically 3 parts of the axe for the Kunkka. Vitaly lives throughout that fight. He's only died twice this game, so he's on par with his item progress. But Tai Lung, he's starting to fall behind the rest of the pack. 3,000 gold difference to Lumpy.
Yeah, I mean, Tiny's one of those heroes that a lot of the times it really doesn't have a weak point in terms of like when your power spike is. There's just different ones all throughout the game, right? Like your laning is strong because of your high base damage. Your level 6 is strong because you get a big spike in the avatars. Your level 12 is strong for similar sorts of reasons, plus the talent. 15 is strong, your 18 is strong, your 20 is strong. Like there are very few weak points for the Tiny, but he just hasn't been able to capitalize on them. The tosses have been good, but you need to really just explode these heroes a whole lot quicker. And because he hasn't been able to do that a whole lot more effectively in the early game, now it's getting to the stages where they're going to start to buy up a lot more of these protective items, right? Like Glimmer Cape is coming up shortly for Moose. Even just the cloak on its own is going to provide a ton of protection against the Tiny. You've got 2 braces and it's past the 25-minute mark on the Mirana, so she's got 2.3k HP, plenty to be able to survive through that initial burst.
Most wanting to take over this bottom half of the map under their control. Just to push Dibujitos on their side. They have themselves a bit of a gold lead going their way, which has existed only momentarily.
Hold on. Might have found Stinger. Brief glimpse of him.
He has dusted up. The arrow shows enough vision, but he is trying to make them work as hard as they can for this money. Dropping the overgrowth, that's a 100-second cooldown. He needs to keep creating more space like this, as the rest of the team is able to finish off the Tormentor shard for the Snapfire.
Not that amazing.
No,
he has the Shivas, though.
That clutch cookie heal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Used to be a talent. Wasn't that the 15 talent?
The heal? Yes.
Radiant's middle tower is under
It's like
attack.
Shard was just a Mortimer Kiss explosion.
The blob as well is just a really nice tool to have. Let you push things out a little bit more easily. Still not level 15 on the Snapfire, which I'm a little surprised about. You know, it's gotten to this stage of the game where that's probably what you're expecting at this point, right? Like, you want a little bit more net worth on your supports. You want to make sure that you're enabling them to progress into the later stages of this game. I think in terms of, like, relative impact that you're going to have,
Radiant's top
you don't
tower
necessarily
is under
need
attack.
the DK to get much bigger than he is already, right? Of course, the Bloodthorn is nice, especially... I take that back, especially since you see the Butterfly starting to get built up by Pyke. You need that True Strike from the Bloodthorn, but you also need to make sure that you're not sacrificing everyone else's game to be able to make that happen.
Also, fights don't really get easy as well. It's not just why isn't Beast just blinking and roaring? And that's because the SD is in that game. You just can't go on the Medusa, blow everything at Pyke, because one disruption can foil everything for them.
They know this smoke is happening, by the way. They had this Sentry Observer combo in the lane. They saw...
Radiant scan, yeah, they know.
Yeah, they know exactly where they are. That's why they're clustering together around this. I'm surprised that they haven't... Do they have a ward available? I'd be putting one up onto that high ground if you could. Maybe just valuing the stock that they have. I think they only have one Observer ward at this point left. And with Roshan on the cards, to make sure that you've got the most vision possible around the pit.
They are heading towards getting some vision down here in front of the pit, at least. The Torrent onto the high ground. Treant quickly drops down the sentry in the trees. Strike. Island spotted. Vitali trying to catch him there. He does get the X mark and the Torrent, but they will not get them together. Only the other.
They're going to just put a Torrent up onto the high ground and then have a ranged hero hit the Observer ward.
Lumpy does have that Lincoln, so if he does
get
the arrow, they actually get the connection onto Wits. Wits is going to have to pop that PKD, and on the run, they're already feeling a bit bad about this one. Solar Flare pop, the Alacrity, everything on Pyke, takes down Demon. Roar comes out from the back.
I'm not sure if he wants to be.
Alvisho gonna save him there, but the Beast is so damn slow. Luz will finally fall, and there we go. He's just isolated from the rest of the pack. And Tylon, he doesn't have the damage to fight anymore, as his buddies are in the grave. He will join them. Pyke with the triple.
Gonna look to potentially hunt for more here with Stinger up on the top side. Again, he's gonna get hit by the arrow. You've got the gem. They're gonna be able to take out the Treant Protector, and they're gonna get themselves a free Roshan from this. Level 24, almost level 25 by the time that Roshan goes down, and an Aghanim Scepter for, I would imagine, Pyke's just gonna look to pick that one up for himself.
This fight tears the game apart. Like, it might have been a 50-50 in all of these team fights, but now they just gained such a huge advantage on the side of Beast Coast. As you said, mentioned Ags, the Aegis as well. And all these crucial items that they've been building all game long, they're now ready.
Who else could they look to give this to? Like, is there anyone else that wants to have the Ags Blessing? Because he's still holding it in his backpack right now on Pyke.
There is only the Shadow Demon I can come up with.
Yeah, it'd only be Shadow Demon if not the Dusa.
Pretty sure Pyke is just gonna pop it. Maybe holding on to the buyback, so he's not willing to use it, because he is in the surplus right now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
If he pops that Ags, he won't be able to buy back anymore, so that could also be one of those things why he's holding on to it. Maybe keep it in the backpack for now.
Having multiple demonic cleanses is really nice, though, against the Treant.
Yeah. 2 people saved. Treant pretty deep in, but he has to be careful. He has the gem now.
It's Lumpy.
Lumpy Ags.
You gotta use it, brother.
Alright.
You gotta use it, Lumpy. There you go. Finally.
There we go. Alright, so Cataclysm.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
What's their lockdown for Cataclysm?
Boat?
Boat. Exactly. It's like, you can use it on a single target.
They got that Roshan's banner, so just stick Pyke with his Aegis.
Far away, the creeps are dying.
lines.
But doesn't matter really, Medusa's still sieging.
Still hasn't chosen his tier 4 item, by the way.
Dire's structures
Some
are
curious
fortified.
things, like
Radiant are
just not
scanning.
thinking about the micromanagement. They're
Dire's bottom
really
tower
focused
is
on...
under attack.
They know that they're going for some sort of backline jump here.
Well, That's a good read because Lumpy's already interrupting them, pushing back with the tidal wave. Tai Lung is stuck, and he doesn't want to use his BKB. He's just going to be like, well, I hate life right now, so I'm just going to be dead instead. Demon, pushed back by El Michel. Sunstrike coming in from the other direction, but the tidal wave just brings him closer in. They even put the solar flare here.
Another put down.
Might look like he needed a bit of backup there to kill the Beastmaster, I guess, but Beast just gets out. That solar flare doesn't really do them any real big impact here. It's already out by the time he goes, I guess, to the high ground.
Yeah, but I don't think they really care all that much. I guess the game feels open enough already. You've got a Butterfly now coming out for Pyke, so even harder to kill him.
And he just got the Ominous Feather after the fight.
Okay.
Well, at least he's got something more
danger.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
Alright, Wits, what do you have with that Bloodthorn?
I mean, he still needs the damage coming from the Tiny and the Snap, right? He's not going to be able to do it on his own. It's gotten beyond the point where you can just feel like you can 1v1 the Deuce, so that is not happening this game.
Yep. And he needs to walk in. No blink, full damage.
Yeah.
Only the hardest part. Pyke has already finished off one lane of Rax. He's got the final one on his sights. And this is not going to take too long. Look at Medusa's damage with the Alacrity, with the Solar Crest. This is what we've been talking about.
Solar Flare coming back up in 25 seconds. They gotta go, like, the time is now. Time for a toss back. Nice X mark.
Vitali on point.
Oh, Frank just BKBs for nothing as well.
Mega creeps now. Well,
still got Aegis for a minute and a half.
Yeah, that's only life number one, right? I mean, can't even get the ulti off. Doesn't have a buyback. Vitali's talking it all up. There's the Cataclysm. It will delete the Beastmaster. Demon will drop as well. Wits is just walking and flying in circles. Parroting away as Beast Coast will take this series 2-0 and march onward to the next round. GG.
Wasn't the most convincing performance in this game 2, I got to admit. Like, there were periods where I feel like the game was wide open for them to be able to make the most out of this weak timing, right? And I just feel like, unfortunately for him, even though he's a very promising prospect, Osito, when he needed to